much for that gracious introduction, Your Eminences, Reverend clergy, to my distinguished colleagues in the House. I normally end up going to the House of Representatives. I am thrilled to welcome you to the United States Senate, where we are in the Kennedy Caucus Room, so fitting and appropriate. And to my dear friend, Congressman Steve Roth from New Jersey. You know, all politics is local, so I have to recognize my local congressman. I actually live in his district. So. And to our distinguished former ambassador to Armenia. You know, sometimes in public life, there is a moment in which you are called to have a profile in courage, and some answer the call and some do not. Well, Ambassador Evans answered that call, and he did it with integrity and distinction, and we are thrilled that he was very pleased to have the Armenian ambassador here as well. I want to be brief in this commemoration. I cannot understand for the life of me when, as a member of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, I had nominees come forth and have an administration that, as congressmanship, has been such a tremendous advocate on this issue. And I recall it very vividly from my days in the House, what he has done and what he continues to do. But I cannot understand for the life of me our president, who had a very clear view when he was the United States Senator. I cannot understand for the life of me our own State Department, whose records are replete with information that clearly went and developed what was happening during the course of these events. Clearly understood that 1.5 million Armenians perished at the hands of the Ottoman Empire, that there can be no doubt on what Henry Morgenthau, the U.S. ambassador to Turkey from 1913 to 1916, wrote when he said deportation of and excesses against peaceful Armenians is increasing, and from hearing reports of eyewitnesses, it appears that a campaign of race extermination is in progress under a pretext of reprisal against the rebellion. There can be no doubt that the ambassador who succeeded him, Abram Elkis, who served from 1916 to 1917, said the following. He telegrammed the Secretary of State and said, in order to avoid the opprobrium of the civilized world, which the continuation of massacres of the Armenians would arouse, Turkish officials have now adopted and are executing the unchecked policy of extermination through starvation, exhaustion, and brutality of treatment hardly surpassed even in Turkish history. I could read a series of dispatches from U.S. ambassadors, from those in the State Department, that clearly documented this history. So it is not that we depend upon others, the historians that universally agree that this was a genocide. We can look to our own documents as a country to establish that this was a genocide. And so we have something that is well documented. This is the historical record. I do not believe in a foreign policy that simply gives a nod and a wink to what, in fact, is what should be an acknowledgement of history. I do not believe that simply because Turkey is an ally that we are interested in and concerned about in a security context, that should excuse them from recognizing history. I do not believe in approving members of the State Department who come before the committee who are unwilling to simply recognize that there was an Armenian genocide, and I will continue as a United States Senator to put those nominees to questioning, and if necessary to hold them if they cannot make the simple acknowledgement that Ambassador Evans made and that our own historical records made. We should not nearly, not quite, but nearly 100 years have passed since the horror of the Armenian genocide, but even time cannot erase the horror inflicted on the Armenian people. There is no statute of limitations, in my view, for acts of genocide, which compels us to move on. In fact, the reverse is true. The act of genocide compels us to retell the story, to acknowledge the history, to talk about the lives and talk about the survivors, so that the world is reminded about man's capacity for their inhumanity to their fellow man. Unless we do that, then Hitler will have been right. Hitler said during World War II, who remembers the Armenians, as he was seeking to exterminate the Jewish people? Well, we are here today. We are here, we remember the Armenians. We remember those whose lives were lost. We honor those who are survivors, and we honor the memory and necessity of making sure that an Armenian genocide is formally recognized by the government of the United States and recognized by those who seek to represent us in these parts of the world. And for so long as I am a United States Senator, I will hold every nominee that comes to a critical position in this regard to that threshold. And I expect my president, who I have supported, to finally come through and stand up for what is right. Stand up for what he believed as a United States Senator. Stand up as the President of the United States today to say there was an Armenian genocide. We recognize it. And by recognizing, we honor those who lost their lives. And we also put to the test the history to remember that it should never be repeated again. Thank you very much.